Started. Good morning. My name is Warren DeVries, and I'm delighted to welcome you to actually the last in the 2010-2011 series of UMBC's Visionaries in Information Technology Forum. We're delighted to have you join us again, and also to have the opportunity to listen to a senior executive from Northrop Grumman, who will be our speaker this morning. Northrop Grumman has actually been a great and continues to be a great partner with us at UMBC, so we're glad to actually continue this kind of a relationship. Partly it's because we actually, both organizations share some very important core values, which include the dedication to increasing the pipeline for people in STEM fields. Also, just a dedication to advancing research and knowledge in critical areas that are important for our nation. And, you know, that has made for a wonderful industry-university partnership. For us at UMBC, where a very substantial number of our graduates are in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, approaching 45%. This kind of a partnership is actually very important for us. And so let me just count some of the ways that Northrop has partnered with us over the years and continues to work with us. For example, the SYNC program, that's part of the Advantage Incubator located just the other side of 94 at RPI's Research and Technology Park. I guess it was 10 days or maybe 2 weeks ago, we actually had a dedication event there. Northrop Grumman has been a key partner in that area that's supporting emerging new startup type companies that are developing the technology that's critical in developing the nation's infrastructure and to protect it from different cyber threats. Northrop Grumman has provided scholarships to our students over time, over 20 of those students, and actually what's important for Northrop Grumman is those students actually end up becoming Grumman. We think that's good for Northrop Grumman. It also cements that connection to UMBC, and we're pleased to see that happen over time. Northrop Grumman is one of the members of one of our National Science Foundation Industry University Cooperative Research Centers, our Center on Hybrid Multi-Core Productivity Research, and that's actually a center that's dedicated to this collaboration between business and industry, where the research agenda is actually formed by our industry partners. Northrop Grumman, not only here, but actually across the nation, when I go to the Engineering Dean's Council meetings, I always see Northrop Grumman supporting things like Maryland's first Lego League, and also the different types of activities that are aimed at developing the pipeline for boys and girls to become the men and women who we want to hire in the future. And Northrop Grumman supports a number of the important activities that we have on campus. One of them, they're a supporter of the Center for Women in Technology. Actually, I think there are a few CWIT scholars in the audience today among groups here. I hope later on you get a chance to meet them. They're wonderful young people. Also, our group of National Society of Black Engineers, Northrop Grumman is a strong supporter of that group, which is very active both on our campus and engaging with schools in the Baltimore area. And so, and the other important areas, women in science and engineering support that they've offered over the years. We'd like to continue to build these kind of opportunities. This is one that also is a very important thing. And we also ask, you know, other corporations that are joining us at these forums to think about and talk to people from Northrop and find out what their experience is, and we hope that we can build other partnerships along those same lines. The forum actually only works because we do have these very specific kinds of collaborations, but also the sponsorship that goes on. And I'd like to just take a minute to recognize our wonderful Visionaries and IT sponsors. Any of the funds that are generated by the Visionaries and IT support the academic programs in the College of Engineering and IT, and it helps us maintain these programs and keep them at the top of their field. And so I'd like to very specifically recognize this year our sponsors Lockheed Martin and SAIC. They've done a wonderful job supporting us over time. I'd also like to recognize our promotional partners, which include Blue Sky Factory, the Chesapeake Regional Tech Council, Greater Baltimore Technology Council, as well as Howard Technology Council. I'd like to very specifically have you join us in thanking them for their support throughout the year for our Visionaries and IT. So as I started off, we were talking about our focus on one partner here, Northrop Grumman, and so we're really delighted to have Catherine Kuenzel, Vice President of the Federal Mission Programs Business Unit at Northrop Grumman Information Systems, their Civil Systems Division. She leads Northrop Grumman's Information Systems programs and initiatives in IT, outsourcing, infrastructure development and operations that support enterprise and base level operations. Her business unit also provides systems solutions for emergency management, integrated base defense, force protection, and homeland security, plus the underlying technologies of information security. Her customers span the Department of Defense, both on the continental United States and abroad, and she has a bachelor's degree in business and management from the University of Maryland University College, as well as she's completed technical sales and management executive training programs at Darden and Harvard. So please join me in welcoming Northrop Grumman's Catherine Kuenzel as our speaker this morning. Catherine?
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ooh, it's moving. Well, I was absolutely delighted to be here. I get called to do a lot of things in Northern Virginia. Imagine that. But I was really, really happy to come here. My commute was only 25 minutes, as opposed to sometimes when I have to go to McLean, it's anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours on a day like this. So it was a delight to come here. But more importantly, it was a delight to be able to participate in a program that's in my backyard, you know, and to give back to my community, because so often I get dragged in the other direction. And so when I was asked to do this, I went, well, let me learn a little bit more about UMBC. And so I found out some things about UMBC. For those that don't know, I'm sure, Warren, you know this information, but Kiplinger has recognized you as one of the best values in public colleges. U.S. News and World Report recognized you as the top up-and-coming national universities for the past 2 years. You recently announced the Cybersecurity Master's Program, which I think is just phenomenal. We, as you said, have partnered with you guys to start the Cyber Technology Incubator Center on your campus. And more importantly, in the Kuenzel household, I have a junior in high school, and we recently did a college visit of your campus. Bummer is that you don't have a forensic science program. She doesn't want to be the crime scene investigator. She wants to be back in the labs. So it may be Towson. I know. So a couple things I'm going to talk about this morning. Lots of technologies going on. No surprise to the folks in the room and to the students in the room what's happening with technologies, but there's some real national priorities facing our nation. Those include health, information security from the standpoint of homeland security, cybersecurity, and renewable energy. And I'm going to talk about two of those things this morning. Then I'm going to talk about some of the careers and the things that Northrop's looking for as we face these challenges in attracting and retaining our talent. So back in a million years ago, you can now go to the Smithsonian and see the equipment I sold called PDPs. So for those that remember PDPs and VAXs, I worked for a company called Digital Equipment Corporation, whose founder actually passed away, Ken Olson, recently. But these were standalone clunky machines. I sold dumb terminals. Some of you guys don't even know what dumb terminals are. Yeah, exactly. You just typed in the words. They were like little fields, little blue or green boxes. Pick your color, gray, blue, or green that you got to fill in. Applications did one thing. They were single-threaded. Closed networks. The networks weren't open. You didn't have to worry about anybody coming into your backyard. And electronic data exchange was just happening. It was such a big deal when we can then do electronic data exchange to get a purchase order from a customer. Oh, yeah, see, somebody remembers. To today, where applications are all over the place, there's just about an application to do just about anything. There's an application to track my weight. There's an application to track how much I ate. There's an application to track how much I hopefully burned as a result of my exercise. And then there's everything in between. And it's global. I'm linked in with my cousin who's in Paris. I'm linked in to my cousins that are in Germany. That's how we communicate today. When I was growing up, we wrote letters and we stuck a stamp on them. Today I just click on LinkedIn and I see what my cousin Peter is doing, and he works for SAP. So where is it going tomorrow? Where are the things that we see, and where do we think things are going tomorrow? And nobody has a crystal ball, but there's lots of things that are happening. One of the biggest areas is around the business intelligence of the data. There's so much of the data. What do you do with it all? How do our folks down at Homeland Security decide what data they should go focus on for terrorists? How did they find that one phone call to get Osama bin Laden? Where was the needle in the haystack? What was the technology that enabled them to do that? How they synthesize all that data into a coherent story and find the needle in the haystack? How do you secure that data while it's in flight and at rest on both ends? Because it's at one place and it's going someplace else. How do you make sure it's the data that you sent when it gets sent? Those are a couple of the areas. And then lastly, how do you make some of the business decisions around those data? When you look at the federal workforce, in particular the civilian workforce, you're looking over a little over 2 million active federal employees. How do you make decisions around those employees? What skill sets do they have? How does the federal government figure out how many security professionals it has? Across disparate systems, across systems that don't necessarily talk to one another. And if you add the intelligence community into the equation, then they really don't talk to one another. So how do you break down those barriers, and then how do you understand how many security professionals that you have? By the way, how many do you need to train? How many need to go through the Cyber Masters program here at UMBC and get that certification? Yeah. So let me talk a little bit about the technical challenges that we have. And these are just, again, a sample set of technologies. Mobile technology. We're looking into an age where you're going to bring your device to work. We're not going to issue you a laptop and a BlackBerry. You're going to bring your iPad. You're going to bring your iPhone. I'm not necessarily going to issue that to you. It's just like now for those that are in home offices. We don't issue you a printer. You go down to Office Depot and get a printer. Well, think about that for a second. Now we're going to give you an iPhone. What about the social aspects of that? We're going to track you, where you're at, what you're doing. We had a great application for the city of New York, to track some of their vehicles for the city of New York. But guess what? The unions didn't want us to track them. Want to know why? Can you guess why the unions did not want us to track them? So if they didn't want to see how many coffee breaks or stops to, get a donut, we're a part of the route. Cloud computing. You can't go anywhere today without hearing about cloud computing. Advanced data analytics and data mining. High-performance computing and high-performance networking. The demands to crunch this data and move this data are going to be unprecedented because there's so much of it. So how do you move it quickly and securely? By the way, the day of building billion-dollar systems and platforms are gone. Customers are looking for agile development. What I mean by agile is that they're looking for, give me the 80% solution and give me it in chunks. So give me a piece of the functionality and then keep adding to it. Show me success. They don't want to wait 3 years from now and find out that it doesn't work, or that technology has evolved in such a way that it's no longer relevant. Huge issue. And social media, as I've alluded to before with the mobile technology. So let's talk a little bit about the people. When we look at supporting the development and deployment of mission applications, it really requires an integrated program team with both new skills as well as broad skills and deep knowledge. Computer science, engineering, mathematics, operations research, subject matter experts such as financial talent management, all need to be subject matter experts in their fields. In addition, team members may require both industry certifications or government certifications. So what are the opportunities? Really what we're looking for is for folks to develop not only their computer science and information technology, but explore some of the practical applications of technology and the emerging technologies. We're looking for folks that understand health and sciences and explore the certifications that advance those typical careers. And then there's this whole thing we call soft skills. I worry that the generation that's currently in elementary school doesn't know how to talk to one another and fight. In my household, we grew up with 4 girls. We know how to communicate. There's no question when we have a message we want to deliver, we know how to deliver it. I worry that that gets lost with the children that are coming up today. How do they communicate? How do they say, I'm angry, or, your outfit's ugly? They don't know how to do that. So really, we're looking for people with those soft skills, from communications, collaborations. How do they present themselves? How do they talk to an audience like this? And by the way, do they understand the financials? It's great if you have your computer science degree, but if I stick you in to run a program, and you don't know how to make money, that's a problem. So we're asking a tremendous amount of individuals as they come through the organization, not only to have the relevant technical skills, understanding of where the market's going, where the technology is going, but how do they do that in a business environment? So let me switch over to two technologies that I'll talk quickly about today. One is renewable energy. Huge issue for our country, and there's some disciplines that are required that are not all technical to support that. So there's information technology, there's atmospheric science, there's high-performance computing and networking, network engineering, and then there's the financials around that. We have an opportunity where we've developed a tool that shows you where to place windmills. So it's great because windmill farms have grown up, but they weren't always placed in the right places. So you didn't have continuous generation from those windmills. So we've developed some technology that says, hey, you need to put these windmills here and here and here so that the technology allows them to get the most out of those windmills. That just didn't take an information technologist to do that. That took an atmospheric scientist to do that, a meteorologist to do that. And by the way, it took somebody that understands the political landscape. Because guess what? People don't want windmills in their backyard. So how do you navigate through the political scene and landscape, in this case Montana, to do that. Those are some of the skills that are required. Another area that we looked at was, again, in New York City. We run the New York City Secure Emergency Wireless System. So think about what a wireless system requires. It requires lots of sensors and towers out there to communicate. Well, we want to put one on a school. Can you imagine, as a parent, the uncertainty that you may feel or not feel about having that placed on your school? The political landscape there, you know, I'm not a New Yorker, but New Yorkers are opinionated just like us Marylanders. And guess what? They didn't want it on their school. So you had to do some education around why it's important, why it won't hurt your child, and give them the research to provide some backup to that data. A little closer to home, cybersecurity. My unit at Northrop provides cybersecurity for the State Department worldwide and the U.S. Treasury as part of the IRS. And when I look at my teams, it's pretty interesting. We do lots of great technology, and technology for technology's sake is okay. But the secret sauce is actually my team. Leveraging the technology, and more importantly, understanding the social aspects of a particular agency. So if you take the Treasury Department as an example, not everybody at Treasury is important. Take Northrop Grumman as an example. The top people that get hit within Northrop Grumman from a cyber perspective are Marcom guys. Want to know why? Because they're the ones who has their names are out on our websites. And once they figure out how to get an email address at Northrop Grumman, it's not hard, ngc.com. Guess who gets targeted in those attacks? Our Marcom guys. You know, and so when I look at the team, I have everything from computer science majors, I have information technology, but I also have a former staffing director who's helping to thwart the bad guys trying to get into the Treasury Department. You know what he brings to the table? Great social engineering skills. He was a recruiter. Guess what he did for a living? He networked. He understood people, how to get to people, where they were at. And he's on the other side of that equation now. Pretty cool. And he's invaluable. Now, he didn't go to a Maryland school, so we do have the debate that he went to an inferior school, but that aside. And if you look at the certifications that my team holds, you know, we hold everything from Certified Information System Securities, our CISSPs, our Certified Secure Software License Professionals, our CSSLPs, and these folks have top secrets. You know, so I think we have one junior in the room that I met, so you're okay. You probably have another year to stop drinking before, you know, give yourself some time before you go take your test for your security clearance. So what's Northrop doing about this? You know, we recently engaged in the Government Business Council, which is a research arm of the Government Executive Magazine, to do a survey of the federal agencies and their issues and concerns around cybersecurity. 70% of the respondents were concerned with protecting against external threats and securing their data and information. 60% were identified as, you know, having issues around increasing employee mobility and the teleworking that's now coming out and being pushed. Over half are concerned with what we refer to as the advanced persistent threat. These are threats by organized bad guys, I call them. I call them also knuckleheads. They're not, you know, members of this audience. That's not what we're looking for. They're not the kids in high school that want to do something silly. But these are, you know, our organized crime, you know, our terrorist groups. You know, more than a third were interested in using the cutting-edge technologies in defense of these attacks. Always changing. No single problem gets you. There's no single fix. No longer can we allow just a single fix. This is important not just to the government, not to just UMBC, industry, finance, banking that are all risk. I heard a study on WTOP is we don't necessarily worry about our children and their identity being stolen. However, but they have clean slates. So if you think about, I'm talking to my kids to make sure that they have passwords that are more than just the name of our dog. Because with a clean sheet of paper, a bad guy can do a lot of bad things. Did anybody see the show on 60 Minutes about the drug gangs down in Florida? 60 Minutes had a great show that talked about the drug dealers down in Florida getting out of the drug business. And not only is it, a bad thing for their health in some occasions, they found a crime that they don't have to worry about being shot at. Medicare and Medicaid fraud. It's so lucrative to them, they don't need the drug business anymore. And it's harder for them to be identified and found. So they're hiring smart people to help them defraud our government. So what's the expertise that you need? We're starting in high schools. As Warren mentioned, we have a huge program around STEM that starts off in high schools. Northrop typically does not, well, we don't support little leagues, unfortunately, for those that have had kids or have kids in little leagues. What we do support, though, is the STEM education, and on multiple levels. And it starts all sometimes in middle school, but in high school we really focus on. So I saw that you have the Maryland one, which I was delighted to see, but we also did with the Air Force, their recent Cyber Patriot high school competition. If you haven't seen that, that's a really cool competition. The nice thing for Warren is that some of those guys are looking at UMBC. Yes, that is good. At the college level, a couple years ago, we established something called the Cyber Research Consortium with MIT, Purdue, and Carnegie Mellon at that time to really help further the research in this area because, again, there's no secret sauce here. There's no single one-hit wonder that's going to solve all of our challenges in this area. So we're spending a tremendous amount of time giving some of the universities some of the hard-to-solve problems. You mentioned the SYNC incubator program that we have here at UMBC, which is also another opportunity for us to partner with UMBC, its faculty and its students, as well as we're looking to help support and shape your master's program, because I do believe some of the social engineering has to go into that curriculum in order for those individuals to be successful, and for us, quite frankly, to be successful in the future. And then once those employees come to work for Northrop, we have a couple things that we did. We actually created a cyber academy within Northrop Grumman. So the ability to put our people through that kind of environment so that we build our own cyber professional is paramount to our success. And when they want to come back to UMBC for additional education and get their master's, we do tuition and reimbursement to support our employees in those endeavors. So we support that. So how do you expand the horizons of the kids in the room and your employees beyond, is to take the computer science engineering, information systems degrees and supplement them. I alluded to this, business, creative writing, communications, If you have any inkling of what you like other than just computer science, do you like psychology? Do you like sociology? Do you like to think how people's minds work? You can figure out how a computer works, the mind of a computer. Can you figure out how the mind of an individual works? One of the things that we're doing down at our CDC contract is that we have health IT professionals that we're going to Georgia Tech to get their IT degrees. And we have the CDC professionals going to Emory to go get their master's in public health. So that cross-pollination of not just a single thread or a single discipline is very important. And then if you look at our Commodities Future Trading Commission work that we do, we actually hire ex-traders to support us there. They understand the issues, they understand the challenges that CFTC has from a regulatory and oversight perspective, and we marry them up with our IT professionals. The other area that we do a lot in is in our internal research. You know, our research is really around what we refer to again as the persistent threat. Those are the guys that every day are banging on your computer trying to get in, every hour banging on your computer trying to get in, and we really focus on that. For the kids in the room, you know, look at some of the associations that are out there beyond your UMBC four walls. AFCEA is a tremendous organization that provides lots of opportunities for students and recent college grads to get involved in the community and get involved in your career field. Please look at those opportunities. And then I'm going to tell you a little story. I have 18 nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews total. And Lisa, she'll die if she knows I'm talking about her, is a single mom who went and got her accounting degree down in Southern Maryland. And I was talking to her the other day. She said, Aunt Catherine, I'm going to go get my bachelor's. She got her A. I said, great, go get your bachelor's degree, honey. Well, you know, I like accounting, you know, and I can do it in my sleep. I said, I know she's super smart. I said, okay, well, what about forensics accounting? She's like, what's that? I said, well, think of Bernie Madoff. Think about what he did and how he did it. We had to go figure that out. I said, that's what forensics accounting does. That's one of the aspects of it. She's like, oh my God, I would love that. So she went on to UMCP's college site, and they have a forensics accounting program. She's coming back, Aunt Catherine, oh my God, I read up on it. It's exactly what I would love to go do. You know, so for the kids in the room, follow your passions. She'll do a phenomenal job in forensic accounting because she has an affinity to it. She's smart, she loves it, she loves the numbers aspect, she loves solving the problem aspect, and she loves not doing the same thing every day. So she can marry all those things together and provide that for her family. She's a mom, actually, of 2. So I'm real proud of her. And again, she'd die if she knew I told you this story. But again, follow your passion. I'm going to leave you with a video. The video is about Northrop Grumman employees that have found their passion and follow their passion. And every day, Northrop strives to make a difference. And these are some of our employees that make that difference.
Every day, I make a difference.
I make a difference.
Every day.
Every day.
I make a difference.
I make a difference.
I make a difference.
Every day, I make a difference.
Every day, I make a difference. Northrop Grumman employees provide a powerhouse of expertise, solving the toughest challenges in global security to make our world a safer place. Every day, we are committed to quality, integrity, and performance in supporting the success of our customers' missions in many different ways. Improving situational awareness.
I'm a systems engineer, and I work on a program called FBCB2. It allows soldiers to know where they are, where other soldiers are, and where the enemy is. If there was like a sandstorm, with FBCB2, they were able to still move around. We're actually giving the soldiers something that will save their lives.
Monitoring disease trends.
I'm responsible for activities to reduce HIV/AIDS infection. Technology is very important because we want to collect that data, analyze it, and produce reports as quickly as possible, and so education material can be developed. Ways to do risk reduction and intervention programs to help, again, reduce and hopefully stop the transmission of HIV/AIDS.
Keeping danger distant.
We hear of our soldiers, our security personnel, putting their life on the line for our freedom and security every day. These vehicles are a first response for a threat that they cannot see. Anywhere where there's danger to human life, our robots have the ability to search for objects, for hazardous material handling, sensing, for bomb detection and disposal. The uses for these vehicles are endless.
Analyzing digital imagery.
I work in the area of imaging sciences and remote sensing geospatial analysis. And what that means is really looking at the digital information, monitoring the environment, and trying to understand what's going on, for example, with global climate change detection.
Linking first responders.
I work on a project that's directly related to the outcome of 9/11. We are involved in developing a network, an emergency services network that allows first responders to communicate with one another. And it's been very exciting, and every day I make a difference by arriving and giving Northrop Grumman and the people I work with my best.
Enhancing battlefield communications.
We fill an entire airplane with radios and computers and antennas, put it at around 60,000 feet, and that allows people on the ground to communicate with each other. They can be deep in a canyon, but if you send the signals up to the Bacon aircraft, they can communicate to anyone in the world. Bacon is there for the people who are going in harm's way and need their communications the very most.
At Northrop Grumman, our employees are our greatest assets, making a difference in the success of our customers' missions by crafting information systems that safeguard our world, our country, and our way of life.
I protect a portion of the telecommunications infrastructure that our national economy relies upon to be functional. And so I'm always seeking the best solution for our customer to protect the Treasury's cyber infrastructure.
We provide the command and control, or really the smarts behind the ground systems that fly the satellites. So we get to work on some of the coolest systems you can think about that make a difference, that look over the horizon. It's not just a tomorrow difference, it's a long-term difference. And knowing you have a hand in that, it's just really gratifying.
Well, I make a difference because I assist us in defending the Marine Corps network, and it allows our Marines in the field to conduct their mission and carry out the important work they're doing.
Whether we're developing a new process or whether we're helping Postal to refine their process or come up with innovation, it is our responsibility in whatever little sphere of the universe that we hold at the Postal Service to make a difference.
I support DIA in developing a cyber analytical workbench system, something like predictive threat analysis to actually piece in together who is connected to who and who is trying to attack US.
At Northrop Grumman,
Every day I make a difference.
So, I will open it up to any questions you have. Otherwise, I will thank you for your time this morning. Any questions? Okay, guys. Yes, sir. So the question is, if I can paraphrase, is what are we doing with the consortium 2 years later? We gave them some challenges, and what's happened as a result. So Dr. Brammer, who is our CTO, is spearheading that initiative. And really what the goal was is to get some outside research and development in the area of cyber, botnet, and other areas, and bring that collaboratively back into Northrop Grumman and further extend both capabilities and benefit from, we deal with the real world. Chris Kennedy, one of the gentlemen you saw there, is one of my employees. We deal with everyday attacks versus in the research world, they simulate attacks. So it's to bridge that gap between every day this is happening versus the simulation of every day this is happening. So we collaborate in various areas around cyber to bridge those two areas between today, happening real time, versus in the research world. Does that answer your question? Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you. Dr. Warren?
Catherine, I'd like to thank you for participating in our forum today. And again, I want to reiterate the strong partnership that Northrop Grumman has had with UMBC. We want to continue that. And so thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you.
Good. So this is for the, we go by the academic year. This is the last forum for our academic year. One of the things I would, because we're talking about cybersecurity today, I would like to actually encourage you to think about participation and attendance. A number of our partners who support this forum actually are also partners in the Maryland Cyber Challenge and Conference, which is going to be happening in October. Northrop Grumman is one of the participants, UMBC, SAIC, DBED, and the National Security Alliance, as well as the Tech Council of Maryland. This is an activity actually that's statewide to actually fulfill the vision and probably the reality that's already here, that the state of Maryland is really the place to go for all of these issues on cybersecurity. So think about that. You'll be hearing more about it in October. And thank you very much for your attendance this morning. Thank you.